watching the Plantx vodcast. Join us as we explore the inner workings of all things plant-based and all things Plantx, from the products and lifestyles to the people behind them. Now welcome our host, the man who combined his love of e-commerce and the plant-based lifestyle to create Plantx, Sean Dollinger.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Plantx vodcast. Thanks for joining us this morning or early afternoon, depending on where you are. Again, people join us each week live to learn about what Plantx is all about, and thank you very much to our investors and shareholders who've allowed us to get to this point. From our retail stores that act as distribution points to our e-commerce website at plantx.com. Basically your one-stop shop for everything plant-based. So if you're looking for plant-based groceries, meal delivery, plant-based products for your pets, or just to learn more about the plant-based space, that's what Plantx was started and created for. And, I've been living a plant-based journey for 10 plus years and really wanted to use this platform to educate and inspire and for people to come and check out all the new and greatest products. And before we went live today, I was able to speak to Marty Koffman a little bit and catch up, founder of Abe's Vegan Muffins. And, it's just so amazing to meet all the different people in this plant-based space and the backgrounds they have and what you could learn from them. And even, in the 25, 30 minutes that we get to speak before a vodcast like today, the education that's shared and getting to meet these incredible people, I'm so thankful that we get to be part of this plant-based movement. So on that note, Marty, welcome to the show.
Sean. Thank you. Thank you very much. It was great to meet you.
So before we jump into everything, Marty, we always love to ask the guests, how do you take your coffee?
Actually, that's a trick question. I haven't had, I've had one cup of coffee since I was 17. When I was first in college, I had a really bad cup of coffee. I must have been sitting in the cafeteria urn for about 12 hours. And up until that time, I wanted to have coffee and I stopped. And the last time I had coffee was apparently an espresso at about 10 o'clock at a Parisian cafe. And I was up all night and I just decided, coffee and I do not get along. So I just water really mostly.
Okay. Love water. And, sometimes I look and I'm like, it's amazing what coffee can do to you when like 90% of it is water going through this bean at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
If you really recognize it. So it's amazing the products out there in this plant-based space, the power they have and all that type. So Abe's, obviously your name's Marty, you're the founder. What's the story?
Well, Abe is my nephew and my brother and I are partners. And we, as I described earlier, we've been in we had been in the bakery business for a while, not in any very significant way, but what we were making was not, Abe couldn't eat it. Abe was born allergic to eggs, dairy, peanuts, tree nuts, sesame, and seeds. And so we, in our little kitchen, we created little treats that Abe could have when all the other kids, Abe's got 3 siblings, and I have 2 kids, so he has 2 cousins, so they could all share together. And really, this came together. And Abe's really, it's a plant-based item, but it's really for parents who have kids with allergies. What's interesting about the plant-based world is that, and one of the things that I talk about a lot, is that it's not just about people who are plant-based, and it's great. And I'll tell you a story about when we first introduced it, but it's for all those other people, shoppers, eaters, who know that if it's plant-based, it doesn't have any eggs, it doesn't have any dairy. And those are 2 of the biggest allergies in the United States. for kids. In fact, there are 2 kids in every classroom that have severe allergies or intolerances. So we started with my nephew Abe, and we made the facility nut-free and egg-free and dairy-free, and then we had great partners at the beginning who helped us roll it out.
I love that. And that's why I always say the plant-based space, it's for everyone, right? Like anybody could have it. It's food at the end of the day. Well, if products had, for example, dairy in it, Abe wouldn't have been able to enjoy it. So I don't necessarily think that we're just in the plant-based world here, but really feeding people and bringing enjoyment and happiness.
It's exactly what we do. I mean, okay, I'll tell you the story that I referenced earlier, and then if you want to move me in a different direction, please do. So when we first rolled out Abe's, we did it primarily on the West Coast, California. And there's a trade show that goes on every year called Expo West. And about 7 months after we started selling into Whole Foods in California, we attended Expo West, which is in Anaheim, California. So not only are there all sorts of buyers coming in from all the retailers around the country, but there are also all the workers who are manning the booths, et cetera. And 7 years ago, we had such a great time. We had dozens and dozens of people, not only buyers, but the people who were working at the show who came up to us and said, I can't believe you made such great tasting muffins. I don't buy 1 pack. I buy 3. I buy 1 for myself. I buy 1 for my vegan friends who don't know your brand name. And I buy 1 for my non-vegan friends who make fun of me for being vegan and tell them my muffins are better than your muffins, so go suck it. So that's how we started. Now I want to flash forward to earlier this year when we were, after 2 years of COVID, back in Anaheim. We had dozens of parents who came up to us and said, I don't just buy 1 package. I buy at least 2 or 3, 1 for my kids, and then 1 for the parents of other kids I know who have allergies. So we've been able to, through word of mouth mostly, just expand the plant-based experience or the vegan experience into more than just where it started from, which is wonderful.
Yeah, I believe if you make an amazing product, it'll sell itself. You know, so many people believe in spending all this money on marketing. The best marketing is exactly what you just shared with us, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely have ideas around, particularly if people are watching. I think the how to get your customers to sell your product for you. I think that's the title of this show. So a great product is important, but what's really important is that the people who you're selling to actually understand your category. So I'll give you an example. When we started with Abe's, I was out in Oklahoma trying to sell a retailer. And I said, we have these vegan muffins. And they confused vegan with Wiccan. So they actually thought we were making muffins for witches. And I immediately came back to the office because, you know, vegan plant-based back then was not a thing, right? It was not a thing. And I said, we're going to call it Abe's Dairy Free. And it took, I think, until like Oprah went into, you know, talked about being vegan and certain other celebrities that people even knew what the word meant. So when we started there, you know, we knew what vegan was, but apparently most of the world did not. But now they do.
Definitely agree with you on that. Like it's such, when we started getting going, do you refer to the word vegan, plant-based, and then all the sensitivities around that? And, you know, seeing your product, it reminds me when I was growing up, Entman's cookies and cakes, but yours, you know, obviously on the plant-based side, healthier, etc. And, you know, with you being in the industry so long, yeah, there's a lot of companies that have come out of nowhere recently or during the pandemic. I believe that it's been about 20 years that you've launched the product or been in the category. Right. How have you seen this industry evolve and the whole plant-based movement?
Well, first of all, the term plant-based is a relatively new term, and I happen to like it because it gives people permission to experiment. It gives people permission to understand. A lot of people still don't really understand what it means to be a vegan, but they do understand that they want to either do things for all sorts of reasons, right? for the animals, for the earth, for their kids, for feeling better, for being healthier. And so we started actually because my son Isaac, who's the same age as Abe, was born mildly on the spectrum, and so there wasn't even an all natural category when we started. I just called them clean ingredients, and that's where we started, and it evolved to helping people just have better for you. That's how we talk about it. So better for you treat.
Love it. Great. And was on your website, and as the as Christian brings images in and out, I think it's so creative, so smart. I saw there was like a little jingle, for example, on the show originally on your website.
Yeah, we got
the different
best muffins. They're not just any kind of muffins. I got a story on that too, if you want to hear it. So a retailer in the Midwest wanted a 30-second jingle when we rolled out the product. And I'd gone to a good friend of mine who was a brilliant composer, musician, and singer. I said, could you do us a jingle? And I said, but we're a small company, we're starting out. Please just just a few $100s, right? She wrote and did a beautiful thing, but it was too expensive for us. And I was like, okay, what are we going to do? And the next week, within 4 or 5 days, one of our fans, and I'm trying to remember her name. It's at Nev Music. I know that's her call out for Instagram. Sent us the jingle that you hear on the website. She said, it's yours. Just try and mention me where you can. And I love it. It's great. And actually, sometimes in the office, it gets into my brain and I can't get rid of it. But yeah, I love it.
What a great story. And as far as marketing goes, what do you find the most powerful tool that you guys are using? Is it the social media side, cold calling? How, I know that the power of your consumer is obviously the most important thing, but what else could you recommend?
Well, okay, thank you. That's a really good question. We, unlike you, I have no expertise in e-commerce. So our first love is manufacturing. We love making stuff. And my brother and I love buying equipment. We love to see how it works. We love that you can go down on the floor and smell things and hear things and touch things. It's really important. So we're not we sell to e-commerce sites, but our basic sales is to brick and mortar retailers, or to retailers now that have gone to both brick and mortar and online. The most powerful tool we have found is the communities who appreciate the category. So whether it's mothers on Facebook or Instagram or the plant-based vegan community. I think we were talking earlier, there have been some, just being on this particular vodcast, it's the people who are interested in this category who want our stuff. And then if they reach out to us, we can then tell them to go on the website and reach out to their retailer and ask their retailer to carry the product. And we've been enormously successful by word of mouth. So we sell from Puerto Rico to Hawaii, and from Maine to, I guess, Arizona. My geography is a little old. Anyway, and so it's really social media. And also we're growing and we're established, but excuse me 1 second, my thing is dinging. Okay. But we still do mostly guerrilla marketing. Influencers are a big part of our marketing program, very much so. And we also we were able to early on develop a couple really, really great retail partners who became reference accounts. Whole Foods was one of them. obviously Whole Foods has been a great partner for us. And there are others, if I start listing and I forget somebody, I'll be in big trouble.
What I love, and one thing that I'm learning as my business evolves, like my business, like the different exposures I have out there. I look at spaces, I look at designers, for example, and it's something that I can never do is look around a room and know how they bring all of it together, or an architect. Like I've started realizing, oh my God, this is a massive complex. How did this all get put together? And all these wires, like it's crazy. But websites and e-com, I could do in my sleep. It's been 20 years and the team we have is phenomenal. So seeing the products you put together, it makes our platform that much more powerful when we're attracting this plant-based consumer, and then they try a product like yours and they're sold on it, then they're willing to come back and try more products. So we really appreciate, because I couldn't do what you do. I wouldn't even know where to begin. So we really, truly appreciate you coming out with all your amazing products, building your brand, because then it makes our lives that much easier to sell the products.
Well, I told you, come over to West Nyack and we'll take you on the tour and I'll show. I see for us, making stuff it's easy. It's really easy. And I love it. It's just, and obviously, and I don't know if I said this to you on the podcast or before, but working with my brother is really the biggest treat. It's just, he and I come to work every day and very early, and we just have fun. We get to make stuff up. This week I would like, the double chocolate banana muffin, and okay, we got one. It's fun. It's really
awesome, Marty. And, seeing your passion, like that's one thing that I've noticed that, we just started right pre-pandemic 2 years ago. But the passion that we hear from people in the industry, it's so great to see. And I know that you have a really interesting past in the different businesses that you've built, your law degree in the background and all of that. And then to see your excitement on what you're doing is what drives me at the end of the day. And it's awesome to see.
Yeah, well, thank you. And it's, I'm only slightly catching some of the chats that are coming up, but it's the feedback that we get from the consumer, and we learn more from the consumers. So now our products, which is interesting for a plant-based company, none of our products have pea protein, which is really one of the big ingredients in a lot of vegan or plant-based items. But for a lot of children, which I never knew, they're highly allergic to it. So,
interesting.
We're constantly, and new flavors. We're bringing out a banana chocolate chip mini muffin because our consumers said that's the flavor they miss the most. And we've gone, it's our consumer, it's also my kids and Joby's kids. But we're going to sustainable packaging. We're doing all sorts of those things that stay true to who we are. That I think the difference with any brand, whether it's plant-based or otherwise, is you just have to be authentic to what you stand for, and everything that you do as a business should be in alignment with how you see yourself and who you are. So we're gonna have a little family business.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think that you've shown that even in our vodcast today, where you started off by saying the most powerful tool out there was this community, and them sharing their love for the product and making sure to hit that right market. And then here you are 20 minutes later or 15 minutes later, speaking about listening to that same audience on some of the direction you go in with the products that you're coming out with, which I think is so important. But Marty, as you know, the show's live, and today's an active one. Obviously, could keep you on for hours. You're super interesting, and love what you have to share. But if you're good with it, we'd love to ask you a few of these questions live.
Okay, put me on the spot.
All right, great. So, and then today, when people get involved, we love to get good feedback, like anything to help us get to the next level, because obviously people are taking time out of their day to join us live. We'll put together a great package of yours and send it out to someone in the US. So
Thank you.
We love your product, so we want to share. So the first question, hey, Marty, what are some of your favorite plant-based brands?
Wow. So the reason I'm having trouble expressing myself here is because I always start with the produce section, and that's kind of where I go. And I'm kind of blanking on the packaged products that I do, which I know is what you sell, but mostly it's, we buy. I'm literally half a block from a Whole Foods from my home, and we just go in and buy produce mostly. I mean, obviously my favorite brand is Abe's, but beyond that, there's also, I like Better Bites. Better Bites is a really cool brand.
Yeah, there's so many new ones coming out, and I'm like you. I find the packaging looks great, but sometimes I don't remember the name of the products, and I just remember how great they are, and then just recognize it on the shelf again.
Yeah, that's why we try and make it as colorful as possible, so people can identify with the color scheme.
And I've been thinking also, like that whole pea protein comment, I never even knew the allergen side of that, but also with the pea protein, I find it's a hard taste to sometimes hide in products as well, so it's interesting that you guys don't use that.
Yeah, I mean, I want to answer more questions, and you can freeze our muffins, but do it just once. If you buy it in the store, you can put it in the freezer, but once you take it out, to put it in and out, it's going to degrade. It'll get, it just will, because it's an all natural product. But I keep the brownies in the freezer, and then every once in a while I'll take it out. I'll put it in the microwave for like 30 seconds. And that's the best treat in the world. That's wonderful.
I'm going to have to give that a try. And then Steph says, do you create seasonal products or products for specific holidays?
Absolutely, positively. We love doing that. And it's actually one of the reasons that we've had success, because a lot of retailers, they want stuff for every day, but then they also want to encourage their consumers, with the seasonal program. So in the muffins, we have a pumpkin spice. We've got an apple cider and a cranberry orange for the fall. A lot of people will do a zucchini for the spring, summer. In fact, we're running an in and out for spring, summer with Whole Foods nationally with the zucchini. And then we're going, what's not on here because I'm not allowed to show it yet, is our banana chocolate chip that we were approached by Paramount Illumination, and so we're doing a Minions package with
that's cool.
For back to school. Yeah, it's totally cool. And then we do our celebration cakes, which is a frosted cake. We do a lemon for the spring, a pumpkin for the fall, and a gingerbread for the gingerbread. I don't even know that we have the pumpkin up or the lemon up because the boxes aren't coming until next week. And then in the pound cakes, we've got a pumpkin and a ginger spice, and a lot of people use either the lemon or the zucchini for spring. So it makes it really fun for people.
Love it. So cool. Packaging is great. Izzy asks, is there any sugar content in it for diabetics?
No, unfortunately, Izzy, it was really created as a treat for Abe and for kids like Abe. And believe me, we've done all sorts of R&D trying to find a sugar substitute that kids will eat in the quantities that they eat Abe's muffins now. But right now, particularly with supply chain issues, it's become very, very difficult to try and keep experimenting with different sugar substitutes.
Interesting. And then, Marty, are you selling out at top production capacity? How do you see demand growing going forward?
Oh, well, no, we still have capacity, but that's because we spent last year building a second facility. So we are growing at about a 35 to 40% year over year rate. And we expect to keep that going for quite some time.
And then Michael Jarvis served the kids some samples you had given, which I refrozen, and they were still outstanding. So thank you, Marty.
Oh, that's great. Thank you, Mike.
And then I guess we could end on one more from James. How about a Plantx Abe's collaboration with an exclusive flavor?
Okay.
Easy enough.
So yes, but I want Sean to make money, and it depends, on what the flavor is, because I think we've captured most of the major flavors. If there's a flavor that you think might work for Plantx that they could sell a lot of, that we're not offering, absolutely positively, I'd love to do it.
We'll play off the coffee taste there. Kids actually love coffee tastes, and I know you have a coffee cake.
Muffin, but we don't. I'll send you some.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Marty, for joining us. I know you guys are really busy over there, and it was super active today. So again, and thank you for changing the time yesterday to accommodate the change in schedule. So thanks, and I look forward to meeting you in person and seeing your facility and seeing all the exciting and great things you're doing.
Thank you, Sean. It was a pleasure to speak with you. It really was. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks again, and thank you for being so active today. Thought the questions were great, and the show keeps growing. Again, getting a chance to meet with Marty and Abe's and seeing all those different products coming out, that's the true power in the platform at the end of the day. We needed the first 2 years to really create the technology behind it, due to the shelf life of products and the way they freeze during certain times of the year, or they get too hot and then you need dry ice. And one thing that I learned, if you ship 5 pounds of something that needs to stay cold, you actually need to ship 5 pounds of dry ice, which shipping costs, as everybody knows, has gone drastically up with fuel costs, etc. So it's this really complex equation out there that we truly enjoy learning and thinking outside the box and getting these amazing products to people all around North America and hopefully the world eventually. Until next time, stay curious, stay planted, stay healthy. Cheers.
Plantx believes in a plant-based future for our health and the health of our planet. We've created a unique online shop for everything plant-based. Our intent on positioning globally is the core of our vision for investor accessibility and corporate growth. Learn more at investor.plantx.com.